On Sunday, January 10, 2021, I had a major heart attack at 10:30 at night. I was taken to the hospital and laid on a table. Doctors put monitor stickers and defibrillator stickers on my chest and back. Suddenly I got very tired, and with all my might I was unable to keep my eyelids open. My eyelids closed like I was going to sleep a very heavy sleep. As soon as my eyelids closed, I remember standing there looking at my bare feet. I was standing on a set of gold steps. There was about 4 or 5 gold steps 30 feet in length, and about 3.5 feet wide with railings on either end. They led down into a garden. At this time, I remember thinking to myself that my chest didn't hurt anymore and that I felt really good. It was kind of like a perfect nothingness. I remember looking up and I saw a crescent-shaped line of huge trees that were about 200 yards away. The bark of the trees was white. The leaves were pink and there was gold lace coming out of the top of the trees, hanging down with gold stars in the lace. I looked up at the sky and the sky was pink. I wanted to see things that were familiar, so I was looking for birds in the sky. There were no birds. I looked down at the garden to see grass. Again, trying to see things that were familiar. There was no grass, but what I did see was the gold lace, the pink leaves, the trimmings from the tree, and a substance that looked like steel wool. And there was light coming up through the ground. At that time, I wondered to myself, having bare feet, that this stuff that looked like steel wool could not be scratchy. I knew it couldn't be because I was going to go down the steps and walk in this garden. I remember turning to my left, not being able to look behind me, but turning to my left as far as I could and remembering my life. And all of my friends and things in my life, my successes, my failures. Not one thing that happened to me in my life mattered at this point because I wasn't there anymore. I was here on the steps ready to walk down into this garden. I thought about the people that I had known and loved. And at this point I knew that they would have to go through their life and have their own trials in their life. Someday they would end up here where I was. I turned again and looked down into the garden, feeling that I wanted to walk down into it. At that point I awoke with a doctor shaking my shoulder, asking me if I was okay and telling me that my heart had stopped. Several months later I went to a doctor's appointment and asked him what happened during this time and how long my heart has stopped. He told me that my heart had stopped for an entire minute. A few days later, as I was sitting at home, I used the stopwatch on my phone and thought about all the details of my near-death experience. As I stopped the stopwatch, the time it took was 1 minute and 1 second. Since the day that happened to me, I tell my story every day to multiple people. Most people say that it gives them hope. For this experience, I believe I am truly blessed. And I also believe that if I was not a born-again Christian, I would have not experienced this.